It's 2021, and the not-so-distant future is slowly coming into view with the new technologies popping up left and right. Sure, we might not have flying cars everywhere yet, but we have the next best thing: electric cars. In fact, with the electric vehicles getting more and more affordable, and because of its benefits, it's on the verge of mass adoption. So if you're looking forward to buying a new car and looking for a more unique but definitely better option, we've gathered some important advantages of owning an electric one. But before we get ahead of ourselves, don't forget to like the video to show your support for the channel, and leave a comment for later. It's free, and it really helps us bring you more of the content you love. Without further ado, let's get into it. They're quieter than gas vehicles. If you live in the city or anywhere near a busy street, then you know just how horrible it sounds. The blaring horns in traffic are one thing, but the sounds of engines revving and burning fuel is something no one wants to listen to on their day off. Electric cars are not just quiet, they're so noiseless that in some countries with a lot of electric cars, owners are required to have some noisemakers installed to warn pedestrians that they're approaching. In a twist of irony, this has actually led electric car manufacturers to add artificial engine noise to their car as noisemakers and to give the authentic gas engine feel. Electricity is renewable, gas isn't. You've definitely heard this from your friends that owns an electric car, whether you asked to or not. But as annoying as it is to hear every time they see you still don't have an electric car, there is truth to the statement that it really does help the environment. For now, a lot of the electricity that powers these electric cars comes from the same fuel that turns into gasoline, but there are already facilities that make use of solar, wind, and hydroelectric powers to fuel their electric cars. If all the electric cars came from renewable resources of electricity, then that's one step closer to actually saving the Earth. Fewer and less frequent maintenance. Being powered purely by electricity, these cars naturally don't need any oil changes or frequent cleaning. This also prevents the weird gasoline smell a lot of older cars have. This of course translates to lesser maintenance checks, that if you take your car to the shop can cost you a pretty penny in the long run. So if you're not a fan of time and money-consuming maintenance, definitely look into getting an electric car. As a small bonus, lower speed limits actually make them easier on brakes, so there are lesser brake replacements. Refueling. One of the main problems with gas-powered cars is that you have to constantly be looking for a gas station to refuel your vehicle. If you own a car for yourself, you know just how hard it is to build a daily routine for yourself when you have to take into account refueling your vehicle, especially for those of us that work far from home. Not to mention having to travel miles on end for a gas station that's 2 cents cheaper than the one you know. For electric cars, it couldn't be easier. You could plug them into practically any socket, and with the electric grid practically everywhere, you could refuel at home, at work, or anywhere that'll let you plug in your vehicle. Electricity is cheaper than gasoline. While this isn't true everywhere in the world, it is the case for most of it. And not only is it cheaper, it's also easier to get a hand on because, let's face it, what's easier to come by nowadays? An oil deposit or the electric grid? In some countries where electric cars are encouraged above gasoline ones, they've even set up recharging stations, which have outlets and even a small parking spot for your vehicle. An obvious downside to these stations would be the fact that you have to leave them for more than 30 minutes at a time, making them very prone to theft. Thankfully, it's just a bit harder to jumpstart an uncharged electric car. Shorter commutes, sometimes. One thing that people will tell you about electric cars is that they're generally slower than gasoline cars, and that's not true. But lower speeds doesn't always translate to longer commute times, as the carpool lane will have you realize. This is where the slower, steadier electric cars come into play, since driving ones give you the express privilege of being able to drive in the carpool lane, even by yourself. Yes, gone are the days that you sit in traffic for hours, thinking up excuses for why you're late to work, since they definitely won't believe you got stuck in traffic again, right? More technology. They're not called the cars of the future for nothing. Electric cars being powered by electricity can also make use of their fuel to power the other onboard amenities, like the air conditioner, seat warmers, and alarms. Not only that, they can also extend to most luxuries that would otherwise not be easily available on cars, like an internet connection, and almost full remote control of your vehicle down to how it charges itself. And as a little bonus for the car enthusiasts out there, electric cars have more torque as they're more reactive due to the absence of a gas engine that needs to initiate combustion. Growing market. If you're interested in any upcoming business ventures, the electric car market has seen explosive growth in recent years, with power companies and even whole countries pushing to phase out gasoline cars in favor of them. Naturally, there are a lot of big names in the game now too, and that makes profiting off this market a bit hard nowadays, But investing in an electric vehicle company, stocks may prove very lucrative in the long run. In addition to a growing market, it's also a hotbed for new technological advancements, ripe for the taking by any budding inventor. Tax benefits. These two words alone would be enough for any budget-conscious adult to sell their old car and buy an electric one. But let us explain further. You'd have to pay very close attention to the conditions surrounding the credits you can get for being the original owner of an electric vehicle. But if you do it right, you could get up to $7,500 in tax credits. The benefits also vary between models and makers, but if you think that's too complicated, manufacturers have a list of the tax benefits each of their cars can give you. Better for the environment. You've heard it 100 times, and you'll hear it some more. Electric cars are better for the environment in the long run, and it's not just a sales tactic anymore with the severity of climate change ever present in today's world. To cut the pitch short, since you probably have it memorized by this point, gas car emissions are bad for the environment. And since electric cars don't have those, they're good for the environment. It'll be even better once electricity no longer relies on burning fossil fuels, and whole countries are making strides to turn this future without global warming a reality. And there you have it. What do you guys think? Convinced by now to buy one? Or maybe we missed out some important details. Whatever your stance is on this matter, feel free to leave a comment down below. As always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for future tech videos. Until next time.